Hi, today we are continuing our discussion about ecosystems. And today we're not going to take any notes or anything like that. You guys are just going to listen because we're going to review species, populations, and communities. I am going to read you a little bit out of our Sciencesaurus book that talks a little bit more about these three things more in detail. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, and you guys are listening as I am reading. All right, so species, populations, and communities. Organisms, which are living things, interact with each other. They interact with organisms of the same kind. For example, robins compete with other robins for good nesting places. They also interact with organisms of a different kind. Robins eat earthworms. Okay, so organisms interact with other organisms that are the same as them, but they also interact with organisms that are different. A species is a group of organisms that can mate and produce offspring like themselves. The offspring can also mate and produce organisms like themselves. For example, a male gray squirrel and a female gray squirrel can mate and produce offspring. The young gray squirrels look like their parents. When the young gray squirrels become adults, they can mate and produce more gray squirrels. Some organisms that look alike are not the same species. For example, a goose and a duck look alike. They both have feathers, webbed feet, and flat bills, but a goose and a duck can't mate to produce offspring. They are members of different species. Okay, so what is a species? A species is a group of organisms that can mate and produce offspring like themselves. An example of a species would be a gray squirrel. Okay, that's a type of squirrel. That's a species of squirrel. Some organisms might look alike, but they're not actually the same species. For example, a duck and a goose look alike, but they're not the same species. They're different species. Populations. All of the organisms of the same species that live in the same place at the same time are a population. All Canada geese are members of the same species. The Canada geese that live in the same place in the summer form a population. Mallard ducks that live in the same lake form another population. Lake trout that live in the lake form a third population. Cattails that grow around the edge of the lake form another population. Okay, so what is a population? A population, those are organisms of the same species that live in the same place. What is an example? Okay, so we just read a few of those. All of the geese that live in the same place are a population. All of the ducks that live in the same place are a population. All of the lake trout that live in the lake are a population. And all of the cattails, which are like these little weedy plants that grow around the edge of the lake, make up a population as well. All right, so next is communities. Populations that live in the same place at the same time make up a community. A lake community could have populations of Canada geese, mallard ducks, lake trout, cattails, and many other species. The populations in a community interact with each other. For example, mallard ducks interact with the insects that they eat. They also interact with raccoons that try to steal their eggs. Populations also compete with each other. Both Canada geese and mallard ducks eat insects. They both build nests in hidden places around the edge of the lake. Okay, so what is a community? A community is all the populations that live in the same place at the same time. Okay, so all of the mallard ducks, all of the cattails, all of the trout, all of those things put together make up a community. What is an example of a community? A lake in Canada has a population of geese, mallard ducks, lake trout, cattails, and many other species. Okay, so all of those things put together make up that community. So that is a little bit more information on species, populations, and community. We will continue to learn about these things as well as other things about ecosystems as we dive deeper into this unit over ecosystems. All right, I will see you next time. Goodbye.